So this is going to lead me
Yep.
emotionally and logically to my fourth critical choice, which was to create community and belonging. And it is, the fifth choice is obviously the anchor point of everything I do, but this fourth one around creating community and belonging, I think is why I am here today. And I never knew what it felt like to belong until I was in my 30s. And what I learned is that it actually, belonging takes action. Like it actually takes you doing things, and it takes reciprocity. It's like a two-way action. You're not just going to belong by saying, oh, I hope that I belong. So I had to go through my own process of creating my own community, and now communities. And I have such a strong sense of belonging in every place in my life. So will you share with us what it feels like to not belong?
Feels like death. I mean, literally, like from a scientific perspective, rejection, that pain of rejection actually it lights up the brain in the exact same spot as physical pain. So it feels like you're literally being punched in the gut. You're from an evolutionary perspective, you get kicked out of the tribe, you're dead, right? Like you don't survive out in that scarce, sparse, dangerous environment alone. And so our brains, when we get rejected, when we don't belong, it is the most terrifying, fear-inducing, horrific thing that I think you could put anybody through. I would rather die a horrible death than be isolated from community. I think it is probably the most inhumane thing that we can do to people. We're social species.
And flip it. We could say, well, the opposite of that, but I want to hear it in your words. When you feel belonging, what happens? How does it feel?
I immediately, my brain goes to like, let me tell you the science. Here's the hormones that happen. And the first thing that I say is belonging is love. That's all it is. It's just belonging is the beat of a heart. Like it is the beat of a collective heart that keeps us going. You get the endorphins, you get the dopamine, the motivation hormones, I think just about the scientific studies that show like you surround yourself with productive people, you become more productive yourself. One of my favorite experiments to do is to tune two violins to one another, right? And you put one side of the room and one the opposite. And because they're tuned to each other, because they belong, right? You pluck the string of one and the other one is going to vibrate at the same frequency. Wow. And that to me is the power of human connection. Is like, you don't have to be physically in the same space. You just have to be tuned to one another. And if we're tuned to one another, we're vibrating together. And that's a symphony, right? That's beautiful. That's belonging. Belonging is a symphony.
One of the things that I've been very cognizant of throughout the years is my disparate communities. And I've been very intentional, not so good lately, but pretty intentional with trying to cross-pollinate. So really strong work community, really strong neighborhood community, really strong workout community, like whatever, we know those, church community, and we have our people in those communities, and belonging occurs within that.
Yep.
And then, right, exactly. And there's this like almost fear of, oh, but if I invite one person from over here, are they going to see me in a different way? Or are they not going to, this person's not going to appreciate what I appreciate about this, right? Like all that shit.
Yeah, because you're shouldering the expectations of other people instead of going, I'm who I am and I get along in each of these groups and I don't care if you get along with this tribe or not. This is still my tribe. And this is like, to me, this is the whole thing with rejection is, you said it took you 30 years to show up and to belong. And for me, what I realized was nobody can accept me as long as I'm rejecting myself. And like I had been rejecting myself because I'm like, well, what if they don't get along with them and then they're going to reject me? That's a rejection of self. That's not even giving them the chance to reject me. Right. So like, Give them the chance to reject you. What a gift. Because if they reject you after they come to that tribe and they're like, oh, you get along with those people, they're lost, man.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. And I love the way you put it. And
yeah.
I appreciate, and I won't even name names here because there's too many for me to do it. But I am grateful for a lot of the people that I follow that are experts in their areas, and they have different perspectives. They come from different communities. They have different backgrounds. They have different experiences. And I find myself, absorbing it for me, but then I'm like, hold on, I'm absorbing this for me, but why am I not sharing this with others so someone else can absorb it? And that is so, from a social media standpoint, obviously, but then physically. So I love your perspective on that. And I would say for people that are watching this, practice a little exercise here of, you have your disparate communities. And I try to hold myself to this. What event or what circumstance can I invite two people from different communities? And it could be like an event that I'm having with neighborhood moms. That is one community. So two people from here, two people from here, do they show up? I don't know. It depends on their schedule. Like, come in.
Not on you.
And then my communities know that I do this too. Because I kind of feel like I have to ask permission for that, because you got like the little, right? We could have major session.
Yes. And you have to justify, and you have to be like, okay, so I know this is my church community and this is my book club community. And you might find that this person, they get a little feisty sometimes, but they're a really good human. And you just have to, we justify for so many other people. Like, it's nobody else's business. It's just nobody else's business.
And then I'll end this one with here, which is what I am learning more and more, because this is still a journey for me, Rebecca, right? Like, I sit there and
we all are.
And the fact of the matter is, like, I am learning every single day and going, oh, I didn't think about it that way. I believe now more than ever that the most important thing to us as human beings is the experiences that make us who we are, practical or profound. Those experiences are who we are. And in order to really create belonging, we got to be willing to, and then find the space to share those experiences.
You just said something really profound. And I think I want to reflect it back to you, because I think so often we're looking for like the big event, the profound moment where everybody comes together and we're just in this peace harmonic. It's not like, stop looking for the right moment. Just do it. Just do the little things, because it's always the little tiny actions. It's like, oh, we're just all impromptu getting together for coffee. Like, it doesn't have to be these. That's what life is made up of. Life is made up of these little tiny moments. I will tell you, the most loved and surrounded by belonging I've felt in a very long time happened just last weekend or 2 weekends. My schedule is nutty. My timeline is like between one hospital visit and the other. Exactly. How about that? Right there in that moment. And literally it was 5 of my dear friends and myself, and we happened to walk across the street and meet across the street at the stadium, and we're just sitting on empty stadium stands on the sunshine. Like, it was a profound moment, but there was no like buildup of like, okay, this is the discussion we're going to have. We're going to get all these important topics. We're going to make sure we talk politics. We're gonna solve for world peace. We're 6 friends sitting in the sunshine, and it was a transcendent experience. So I think, rather than trying to like really calculate everything, just live life. Just live.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Choose and Become interview series. To check out more episodes, go to www.trishkendall.com/podcast, or go to any of your favorite podcast channels, including YouTube, under Trish Kendall Speaks, and you'll find this interview and more. Choose and become.